have now tuned in to my Haves and Have-Nots recap. Guys, be sure to subscribe if you have not yet done so. Also, be sure to share this video wherever it is that you like to share videos, okay? All right. So this freaking episode was action-packed. Like, I was sitting here like, yo, I can't believe that just happened. Like, I was just so into it that I couldn't even tweet. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go on Beamly or anything else because I was just like, nah, I gotta like just focus on this and kind of like take my notes while I'm doing this because it was just a crazy episode with so much going on. But I loved it. I was living for it. I didn't want it to end. So the police, they tell everyone that this is a homicide. And Veronica, you know how she is. She's like, well, I'm a judge. This is Judge David, and this over here is Judge Jim Cryer. And do you have the credentials to be able to state that this is a homicide? And he looked like he's starting to get shook after he heard all that. But I'm like, dude, don't you know the people that you in their house? Don't you know who these people are? Especially if you're supposed to be some high-ranking officer, you're supposed to know stuff like this. Or at least I would think so. So he's saying, based upon certain things that happen, he is able to rule it as a homicide. But once the MA, I think it's MA, right? The ME comes in, that's when they're actually be able to determine and really state that it was a homicide. And once the DA comes to do her investigation as well. Jim, he tries to stop him from talking. Well, it was Wyatt. Wyatt was talking about he was going to confess or whatever. And then Jim, he tries to like stop him from talking. And they like literally are having like a brawl, you know? And Jim just goes off on him. Like, yo, who do you think you are trying to fight me in my house? And they kind of, they squashed it right there. Thank goodness it didn't get like all out of hand or anything like that. They show us Candace. Candace is living a good life. Like, she's just there chilling in the bed, just relaxed with her little robe on, sipping on some good champagne, you know, enjoying things in her expensive hotel. And then her homie, what was his name? I forget the homie's name, but he came in and she gives him $200,000. She like, yo, I gave you an extra 50. It was supposed to be 150,000, but she was like, yo, I gave you an extra 50 for everything that you did, which was pretty nice of her considering she only got $7.4 million, right? But she also wants him to go legit. She wants him to lead a straight and narrow path. So I guess, so we can get that real money. It's like right now, she gave him enough to not have to worry about struggling and being on the streets. But some people, you know, what I see is that they're kind of like, their mentality is just, the streets is all I know and that's all I want to do. Because that's what they're used to. But she's trying to show him that there's a different way. I'm like, girl, you ain't even all the way straight yourself. But she's trying to help other people. But I mean, that's good of her. You know, that's nice of her. I definitely commend her for that. For trying to help him start up his own business. Now, some people, they just need a little push. And she said that by him being able to do what he does on the streets, that shows that he has that type of business mentality. And that's so true. Like, a lot of people out here that do all this hustling, if they would apply that into the straight and narrow world, imagine the empires that they could be running, you know? Like the, you know, like the show Empire, right? Okay, so now, while doing his job, Benny, he gets called to do like a towing for a woman who wants her car to be gone. So he asks her, like, what's wrong with the car? And she's just like, well, nothing. I just want it gone. And I don't think I really need an explanation. If I don't get this car gone, then I'm going to be driving it into the Hudson. So when she says that, she also reveals to him that this was from her ex, who has a wife, who he also bought the same car for. So she doesn't want it anymore. And she is literally ready to just let it go wherever it goes. She doesn't even care where it ends up. So Benny's like, yo, well, why don't I buy this car off of you? And she's like, how much you got? He's like, nah, I don't even have enough for this. He's like, yo, I only got $500. And she's like, sold. And I was like, dang, why couldn't be somebody like that get a car like that for $500? You know what I'm saying? I would definitely empty my bank account if I needed to for just $500. I mean, it's more than that, but I'm just saying, you know, yes, that would not even be a second thought for $500. I'll give you every last dime in my pocketbook. So she signs away everything, gives him a video statement. So it's no way that she could kind of say that he stole it or there's any type of fraud going on or anything else that anybody could say. There was none of that. No grand larceny or anything else. He got it fair and square and she gave it away. Celine, she goes to console Jim, you know, just going by his side, kind of rubbing his shoulder. And he just was like, Celine, stop. Veronica, she feels, of course she has to put her little 2 cents in because these are her family friends. These people are close to her. So she has to be the one to stand up and say something. She's like, can you just leave? You know, then she goes off on her. They're talking Spanish and English and a little bit of Spanglish. And David, he just tells Veronica, sit down. I was like, yes, David. Yeah. You know, get her. Somebody needs to put her in her place because she always thinks that she could run people and you can't. Like, she gets over on people and she gets her way a lot because of the authority that she has. So she feels that she can do that to every and anybody. And not everybody's going to let her be that way. You know, I feel like there needs to be somebody to be her match. Celine, at least I'm happy that she was standing up for herself. She didn't just say, okay, Veronica, you said leave, I'll leave. You know, she was saying what she had to say. I was like, okay, somebody's doing a little something. But Daddy over there, he was like, sit down. So moving on from that, Catherine, she wasn't playing any games anymore. She reveals to everyone that Celine has 2 kids by Jim. I didn't even know it was 2 of them. I thought it was only 1. She said that she has one that's Wyatt's age as well as another one. And she just thinks that's 7 years old. She just thinks that she's invincible because of this. So that's the reason why she's been working there so long. And it's kind of like if she shuts up, doesn't say anything, then she has immunity. She's good. But Catherine, she just totally flew off the back end. She was telling her to leave. She wouldn't leave. Catherine just went over there, lunged after the girl, started freaking hitting her, literally dragged her, and was dragging her out of the house. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is crazy right now. Catherine is playing no game. She gives no F's right now. Like, it's just like, yo, I asked you several times to get out of my house, and you're not listening. So, you know what? Now I'm going to have to take a little bit of action, and I'm so gangster, I don't even care if the police is right here. Arrest me. What y'all gonna do? You know, that's what I was seeing and the words that I was hearing coming out of her mouth as she was speaking, you know? So luckily the cops kind of saved her. Poor little Celine. Celine's like, okay, I'm leaving. She takes off her stuff and she exits. Catherine, she's spilling all the beans, all the tea, all the juice, a little bit of everything. She is spilling it, honey. And she was just like that. Jim, he used her. He seduced her April 7th, 1979, when she was 15 years old at the time. And he just wanted to get the money and the power that she had that was behind her last name, her daddy's things, what belonged to him. It's like he saw it and he wanted it and he played her for it. And then when he got it, he didn't really care anymore. And you know, that's real messed up. And he's there like tearing up because he knows that it's true at the end of the day. That's all he did was he used her. And then she says, April 7th, 1979, I thought it was my lucky day. Thought it would change my life. It changed my life, all right. Here I am, 35 years old. 35 years later, thought it would be the best day of my life, April 7th, 1979. And then she said a few other things, which I didn't catch because I was like, oh, I'm not going to keep on rewinding this. But, oh my God, that monologue, it just like, I'm such a monologue fan that it kind of like blew me away. I was like, oh my God, I might still do it on my acting channel, but I'll think about it. But yeah, she said that it was actually a curse. And it was really pretty much the worst thing that ever happened to her. And she was just like looking at him like woman scorned. Like that, you know? And she was like that she wants him to just sit in his misery knowing that he's the one that allowed her to pull the trigger and commit suicide because it's his fault. She's not going to let that go. At the end of the day, she feels like it's his fault because she said to commit her to the St. Islam or whatever it's called, the crazy house, and he didn't, the mental institution, and he didn't want to do it. So after that, that's when Catherine actually snatched up Celine. It was like she was just over everything, and she was just like, boom. Wyatt and Jeffrey, they're in the kitchen and they're talking, and Wyatt, he seems like he's trying to like come up with some type of plan where he just tells all. He wants to confess about the murder of the little girl that he did, and he also wants to confess that he hit Benny. I guess because of what happened to his sister, maybe he feels that this is karma or something, or some type of curse, that he took somebody's life, so his sister took her life. Like, you know, stuff like that. It just seems like the universe is just kind of coming back to get you and pull you down into the abyss because he really loves his sister. And I guess he kind of feels some of the guilt. That's why he wants to free himself so badly. That's what I'm seeing. He's just like drinking nonstop, just like, I guess, trying to drown the pain, but he's just becoming demented and saying all these crazy things that he's going to be doing. And then he was telling Wyatt to like kiss him, and Wyatt's like, no. I mean, Wyatt was telling Jeffrey to kiss him, and Jeffrey was just like, no. Like, he's like, we have to inflict pain upon them. And I guess he just wants to do it maybe in front of them so that everybody can just look stupid. I don't know what it is that he's really trying to do, but he's really trying to come up with some type of plan. And I don't know. I question him just a bit, because for him to even want to go down that route, and throughout these past 2 episodes, he's been wanting kisses and hugs and kind of teasing and playing with Jeffrey so much that I just feel like, I don't know. I think he really likes the chase. I think he really likes the fact that Jeffrey wants him. It kind of turns him on a little bit. That's what I'm kind of feeling. I'm getting that kind of little vibe from him. What about you guys? How do you feel about that? So the DA, she says that she's going to rule the death of Amanda as a suicide. They kind of thought it was a homicide due to the blood splatter, but she's going to rule that out. And she tried to spare Jim and Catherine from seeing the body. I think, did Catherine see? No, I don't think Catherine had saw. But she was trying to spare them, but the stupid coroners, they ended up coming out the front way. So Jim and Catherine, they seen them coming down. So they're just like, come, we want to see her. And Jim's just like, he has to see it, otherwise it's not real for him. You know, sometimes you just kind of need that closure, even though it's going to be embedded in your head forever. I mean, me personally, I like to see people the way they used to be, not the way that they deteriorated or turned into, because it's going to be the last image that I see. And I don't want to see somebody just blood splattered, brain splattered all over the place. I want to remember them as that beautiful person that they always were. But to each his own. Some people, they just need that closure and just to know she's not really sleeping. She didn't run away. She's actually dead. You know? So Candy came. She was in a bar getting her little drink on, just kind of celebrating by herself. I remember them days I used to celebrate by myself. I used to go to the club, turn up by myself. I can go to the movies sometimes by myself. I still do that sometimes. Go out to eat by myself. You know, and sometimes you just want to be alone and get that quiet time for yourself. So that's what she's doing. And who walks in? None other than Landon. We all know Landon, the guy who just recently got fired. And he's like, give me a double. You want to get that hard drink on. And they end up sitting down, having a little conversation, and it's funny. Oh my gosh. Didn't they say the same thing that me and Ashley were talking about the other day? I wrote that I think Ashley had said it and I wrote it, or something similar to that. It's like with Veronica, you just kind of hate her, but then you love her all in the same damn breath. It's like, oh, I can't stand her. But she just makes the show so freaking interesting. Like, I don't know how it would be without her. Who would we really hate? Because Candace, you really love her, you know? She's like the star. But Veronica, she's the one that you love to hate. She just makes you so mad. Even when you try to like her, she just turns around and says or do something. But she puts people in their place. So, you know, it's one of those types of relationships that we have with her. And he said the exact same thing. Tyler's been listening to us. So, but from that, they end up coming to the point where he reveals that Jim, he didn't even show up to the campaign, and Candy, she's just like listening, trying to soak in and get all the information, get a little bit of juice from him, but without showing that she knew a little too much. And then he also says that Jim had a tragedy and he might just win, even though he didn't show up for the announcement. So she's like, what tragedy did he have? And he's like, well, his daughter committed suicide. And he was like, hold on, let me pull up the story for you. As soon as he turned around, she was gone with the wind. Like, we didn't even know where she went. All you saw was a little bit of dust where her seat was, where she was sitting down. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but as soon as he said it, like, you could just see, like, her whole facial expression. It just changed. Her whole demeanor just changed. Because even though sometimes she was a little ruthless and maybe she wasn't the best type of friend that she could have been, she did care about Amanda. Like, they had gotten so close. Maybe she had a certain agenda and she was still about the money, but that girl was her friend. They lived together. She tried to help her out when she found out about the professor, like all those things. So she definitely, I feel like she did care, but she just was too concerned and caught up in her own foolishness that she wasn't being a very good friend or a caring type of friend. Jeffrey, he's trying to stop Wyatt from drinking away his pain and his woes. But he's just like, what are you doing? Like, don't touch my bottle. Otherwise, I'll take it and crack it over your head. Like, for real, for real. So when he does that, Jeffrey, he starts walking away. Like, I'm not going to sit here and watch you drink your life away. And Wyatt's just like, are you serious? What about you? What do you think you're doing? You're wasting your life away, you know, because he's allowing his mom to rule his life. He's miserable. He's with some girl that he doesn't even want to be with, claiming her as his girlfriend when he's gay. Come on. So, yeah, he calling him out. And Wyatt's just like, you know what? I'm about to do this. I've got to do this. This is what I got to do. And in walks his papa. Papa Jim Cryer walks in. And he's just like, what did you say? So it's about to be on and popping next episode. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Guys, be sure to check out my other channel for recaps of Love and Hip Hop New York, or whatever Love and Hip Hop is on. I always do them on the other channel. And check out my other videos that I got throughout this week. Okay, tomorrow we're going to be doing Mob Wives. We also got to be doing Empire. Okay, so I'll see you then. Be sure to stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.